Think back to the stories we are told as kids. We hear about towering stone castles, vast armies marching across sweeping landscapes, and we hear about glorious rulers who conquered continents. But those stories leave something out. The history we inherit is almost entirely a public relations campaign, authored and heavily edited by the regimes that survived long enough to write it down. Official ledgers point to tangible numbers to prove a ruler's greatness. They tally up vaults of wealth, the sheer volume of troops, and the miles of expanded borders. Taking those sanitized records at face value creates a massive blind spot. We fixate on the physical victories, completely missing the crushing psychological reality of holding absolute power. To find that reality, we must look away from the chaotic battlefields and step inside the quiet, deeply shadowed interior halls of the royal palace. Here sits a ruler who possesses total control over millions of lives and commands impenetrable physical security. Yet their most constant, inescapable companion is a deep existential dread. The moment someone claims absolute authority, they instantly become a universal target. Every person who wants power now knows exactly who they have to remove to get it. This diagram maps out a monarch's spatial hierarchy of threats. It shows how a king's most lethal, continuous war was rarely fought against rival nations, but waged silently right here, within his own walls. Look at this outermost ring. These are the highly visible enemies, opposing armies across the border, rival nations, and foreign empires. While these forces bring violent conflict, their movements are strategically predictable. You can scout an approaching army. You can build walls to stop them. Now focus on this middle ring. This represents the royal court, the ministers, the high-ranking generals, and the most trusted political advisors. A brutal mathematical reality takes over in this space. As a person's physical proximity to the throne increases, the king's ability to trust them drops in direct proportion. The very individuals tasked with protecting the crown are the only ones holding the logistical access required to orchestrate a coup or poison a wine glass. The concentration of absolute power twists a king's own security apparatus into his most severe vulnerability. Finally, we reach the innermost ring, touching the crown itself. This is the king's own bloodline and immediate family. The sheer gravity of the crown warps basic human relationships. Brothers, spouses, and even a monarch's own children are constantly positioned as highly motivated political rivals. The threat manifests physically. Rulers lived with the inability to sleep soundly through the night, the necessity of tasting food for poison, and the terrifying prospect of turning their back on their own kin. This creates a condition of dynastic paranoia. Every day is spent in the agonizing, constant anticipation of familial betrayal, all driven by the need to secure the line of succession. Surviving the long ascent to the throne requires the ruler to systematically dismantle their own capacity for genuine human connection. So, what happens after successfully securing the ultimate prize? The resulting state is a profound, suffocating psychological isolation. A king might spend his days surrounded by thousands of fawning courtiers, yet live with the crushing reality of having absolutely zero true allies. The throne room ceases to be a seat of victory. It functions as a meticulously constructed, inescapable prison. And the impact of this paranoia bleeds far beyond the palace walls. Out in the broader kingdom, the common population has zero stake in these elite power games, yet they are the ones forced to foot the bill. To fund the sprawling mercenary armies and preemptive wars required to soothe a king's anxiety, the public endures crushing, relentless taxation. While the ruler battles internal demons in the dark, the masses physically bleed to subsidize an endless, unquenchable demand for security. The next time you walk through the ruins of a sprawling fortress or read a sanitized tale of royal conquest, adjust your lens. Look past the architectural grandeur and the staggering wealth. Recognize the terrifying personal price exacted on the people who held that authority. Because behind the gleaming, polished facade of every crown, there is an untold story of fear, betrayal, and total isolation.